Three, two, one, we're live. Happy Thursday, Truth Bombs and Coffee with Dr. Brook Sheehan and Kornelia Stephanie. Hi, Dr. Brook.
Hello, hello. Good morning. How are you this morning?
Good morning. I'm full.
Yay!
Full. I'm full. I'm just like full of
Yay!
all the stuff in the world. My gosh.
Yeah, yeah,
Right? I
right.
just feel like going the other direction and not coming out.
We can't do that. We
I
can't. I
know.
know that's how we feel, but we can't do that. And this is why we put these shows together, right? This is why we do this weekly, sharing our truth, sharing what we know to be our truth, not shoving it down someone's throat, but just kind of sharing our perspective and what we see in the world. So, yeah,
So
we
true.
we have to continue standing. And and I know like it's a time where a lot of us are feeling weak and we're feeling beat down and we're feeling discouraged, and but that's the great thing about having a support system, right? Because when one of our brothers or sisters starts feeling weak, a lot of us can kind of help support and pull the weight, and we do the same for each other. So
Yeah,
yeah.
which is why I'm always talking about
Yes.
identifying what your needs are, being able to articulate what your needs are, and then
Hmm.
communicating your needs to your loved ones, to the people that are there to support you.
Yes,
Not because you are needy, but because they are resources for you that
absolutely.
support you, right? And so that's a different energy than making it seem like you're needy,
Right.
right? And so
Right.
yeah, and I think a lot of times, people don't realize that they have resources around them, and that they can ask for help when they feel
Hmm.
overwhelmed, but they've
Hmm.
been trained and conditioned not to ask for help, not to ask for support, and they don't know how.
It's so interesting, and this is something that I've kind of had to struggle with over the last few years too, because part of my past life, not even my past life, but current life, I developed an app and with my best friend, and it was all around community sharing and building and creating a sense of community over food sharing, right? And it's this concept of we are so, like you mentioned about the help, we are so inclined not to ask for help, not to communicate our needs, not to ask a fellow neighbor or a friend or somebody to help support us. But if someone else asks for help, Cornelia, if you ask for help in this moment, I'd be right there. I'd be like trying to, whatever I can do to help. And so it's so interesting how we quickly are, hurricane victims or fire victims, or yeah, we're coming in with all the supplies. Whatever we can do, we'll help you, help you, help you. But in our own accord, it's like no, no, no. I'm okay with helping others, but I'm not okay with getting my help myself. And it's this weird mental psychological thing that we need to start unraveling and breaking, especially nowadays.
Yeah, it's so important. I experienced that, more intensely in the last couple of weeks. Is just looking at my own internal messaging and guidance, and also,
Mhm.
this is a practice that I've developed over the years, and that's always checking in with my inner self and going, "What is it that you need, babe? What is it
Yeah,
that you need?" Right? What is it
yeah.
that you need? And so sometimes, and then if I ask myself from a place of curiosity, because I know my number one job is to feel good.
Hmm.
That's the thing,
Hmm.
because if I'm feeling good, if I'm feeling high, then I can show up and serve
Hmm.
in a much greater way that
Hmm.
is going to be sustaining for myself and for the collective as well. But if my personal needs aren't met because I don't know how to ask myself what it is that I need, and to ask for help or get my needs met, sometimes it's just even having somebody listen to you.
Yes.
Sometimes it's just having
Yes.
somebody listen to you, like, just even like, it's a lot. Everything,
Yeah.
there's so many things going on, right? Like, there's so many things.
Hmm.
Maybe you're just overwhelmed and you're just tired of all the allotness, and it's just too much.
Yes. Yes. I agree. and it's as simple as that. It's as simple as just maybe even having somebody listen to you, listen to what's on your heart, listen to like, it's so funny because a lot of times when we are sharing or we're talking with a friend, like it's not that we need them to come, and try to save the day or rescue us, or even just talking through it. Sometimes it's like we can have these own epiphany moments going, I just figured out a solution to whatever I was thinking or feeling or going through, or the problem that, I had. And so, speaking to a friend, speaking to a relative, speaking to, somebody, that I think a caveat here though is it's important the person you speak to, right? Like I think that because there's a lot of negative Nancy's out there, right? And a lot of people that are going to sit there and try to tear you down. And then that just makes you kind of crawl into your hole, go like not want to get help, not want to, seek, assistance from others, because it's like you shared with somebody, they were either attacking you for having the thought processes you had, or they were just trying to come in and fix every single issue, and that's not what you're asking for. I think when you talk about communicating needs, it's also important to tell the person you're speaking with, hey, listen, I just want you to listen to my heart. Like, I don't need you to offer guidance or counseling or, A, B, C, and D, like an outline of what I need to be doing, but just listen, and then at that time they can ask for permission. Can I offer you some insight on what I heard you share? Or can I, and that's like a beautiful dynamic of having like a really deep conversation or deep connection with a person.
And I think you said so many things. I started taking notes because it's important. I want to talk to a couple points of what you said. Like sometimes it helps just to talk things out. And I call that talk therapy, is to speak it out. And when you said the epiphanies that you have by sharing something, it's also that self-realization that all of a sudden you had that aha. You had an aha. That's one part. And then another part is that we just want to be heard, because I feel like in our humanity, all beings want to get gotten. They want to be understood. They want to be heard. And we're talking about, like you said, choosing the person that you want to talk to. Like you're not going to, because it just depends. If you're coming from a victim standpoint and you are wanting another party to be in the victim boat together with you, where you both are like, woe is me, and we're just going to, do that thing together.
Save the ship together.
And be in the victim energy together, that's one thing. But if you want somebody, like you said, to listen to your heart, to choose to just somebody that's going to listen to you. And we train and teach the people how to hold space for us. I call that holding space.
Yes.
And, and when you said, we just need somebody to listen, and you don't have to solve the problem. And this is the way that I would teach people in my immediate surroundings. You don't have to fix it. You don't have to solve the problem. All I need is just somebody either to witness me in my rage, to listen to me, to listen to me, to hear me, just, from my heart. And that's it. And just to hold the space, just basically the witness. Because the truth is I really don't need that, but it's just nice to talk it out and have another person witness you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
So what's going on with you in your world? Like right now, what's on your heart, Dr. Brook?
Gosh. To be honest, I feel like, we started this whole show out with the notion of, it's like when your brother feels weak or your sister feels weak, and you just kind of have to help support them. And Kornelia, I'm right there with you in, feeling like it's just easier to just, like stop pushing and stop the resistance, so to speak, but like we have to continue the fight. We have to continue to be the light. And as disheartening as it is sometimes, I know that I have to continue standing in my truth, and my truth cannot be stolen from me, and my convictions cannot be taken despite what's happening in the world. And, I mean, we had a big, I'm here in California. We had a big election just happened, and there was a lot of work going into getting this special election to happen. And, things didn't go according to plan. Things did not go according to my wishes.
Right.
And, it was like I woke up the morning of yesterday and heard the news, and I was pretty devastated because the tyrannical, and I use that word because that's my truth. It may not be your truth, and you may stand with that person and their viewpoint, but in my terminology, tyrannical is the word. And in his tyrannical, measures, I don't know what that looks like for the future of my life. Like, I know that source energy, that God, like, universe has been providing me steps and preparing me along the way to whatever transitions that I may have to make, whether, it's continuing a practice here in California or if it's completely going online. I'm thankful that the preparation process has started. I don't know what that future is going to look like. And so, when you ask me what's on my heart, it's feeling blessed, while at the same time my heart goes out and it hurts for my fellow colleagues, my fellow, our warriors in this battle, the people that are standing with us, Kornelia, the ones that are working to shift and change, that are maybe being forced to not be able to do what they're doing because they physically have to touch a person to do their work. Thank God that I don't physically have to do that to do my work. But, my heart is heavy, and I'm sad, and I'm, like, but then I can't stay here. Like, I have to feel these feelings, but I can't stay here. I have to continue to take steps forward.
Yeah, this is beautiful. I was just talking with someone this morning about the sadness and the loss that you feel with being backed up into a corner and being made to feel like you have to do something that goes against your core values.
Yes.
And it goes against your core values, and the loss that you may feel because you love what you're doing. You love your job, you love what you're doing, but you might be called that you might have to let that go because you're not in alignment with causing harm to your body or causing harm to your family. So that there's a loss there that has to be felt, which is the grief and the sadness that you're talking about, the injustice that you're talking about. So, but here's what, and when I'm sitting with that person, they're telling me this, and I understand. I can only imagine how hard that is for you. And at the same time, we then made an appointment to say, okay, let's call in the right opening, the right solution for you and your family. Let's set a time to do that, because every time when we call in, every time when we take a stand, every time when we shine in that light, bam, it shifts things and miracles happen.
Yes, so, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Right? So we have to feel the sadness, but then we also have to call in, stand for, declare. I declare that this is where I want to go, and this is what I want. So the solutions are there too. So where you're being backed into a corner there, and that seems to be like not going in your direction whatsoever, then we also know there is a place where there's new possibilities and new openings. And so this is where we're at right now.
Absolutely. I feel all of that, and you're absolutely right. And one of the biggest things that I had to not come to terms with, but one of the things that I told myself on yesterday morning was control the controllables. I can't control everything that's happening. I can't, but what can I control in my world? How can I show up for my patients today when I feel defeated? And I went for my walk. I did my exercise in the morning. I spent time in meditation, and I showed up into the office with those patients 100% wholeheartedly, like they're, some of, them think like me. And so I had to create space for them to share their heart and to tell them, listen, this is the big thing for me. Control the controllables. What can we do as people to make a small little impact, a light, be that light that comes in, right? So when you talk about there are solutions to those feelings of being backed up to the wall, I absolutely agree with you. And we're working through those, right? We're like every single day, it's figuring out the solutions, figuring out what can be done, like, what changes can happen so that we're not completely like obliterated. I don't know, not a great word, but you know what I mean? Like,
No,
yeah.
and that's why I think it's important. We started out the conversation with identifying what your needs are so that
Yes.
you can come from your infinite well of resources, because you utilize the resources that are around you. Being able to articulate and ask a friend or ask a coach or ask a doctor to
Mm-hmm.
support you so that you can stand stronger in your resources is an important piece, in making space for that. But
Yes.
you have to be able to say when you feel overwhelmed and when enough is enough, that because we have to make sure again that number one, you feel at your best so
Mm-hmm.
that you can then support other people, the people in your community, the people in your environment. And I don't know anybody right now that is not 100% challenged with just all kinds of things that are happening. Just
Mm-hmm.
this morning I was watching, I don't live in California, but for some reason I was watching. Do you know who Rose McGowan is?
I've heard of her. Yes. Yes.
Well, I've got to send you this video. You've got to watch it, Dr. Brook. Oh my
I
God.
will.
It is so good. She was supporting, she's standing up and she's
Yeah.
speaking out in a big way. She was a Hollywood actress. She
Right.
clearly left, she's speaking out against the Harvey Weinstein and all, that
Mm-hmm.
whole system and
Mm-hmm.
how it's all connected, even to the political parties. Hello. Oh my God. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I'm not even a California, but I'm listening to what she's saying. And this is what she said. You're going to love this video. Okay. I couldn't believe it. She said, let's take the Democrat away and let's take the Republican away and let's speak to this issue. That's what she said.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
It was so
Yes.
good.
That and that is exactly, like, it was so funny because somebody came to my door and I already had my, I knew where I was voting. I knew exactly, I didn't have to be, decided either direction. People came to my door with a sign and, stop the Republican recall. And I'm like, I was so triggered by it. And maybe I came off so rude to them, but I was just like, this is not a Republican recall. This is not even about that, because his own party members voted against him, and very predominant people. And so when you talk about where she's saying take the people and look at the issues, I don't even know, like, if she's talking about Harry Weinstein and those issues, but I mean, obviously there are other issues, but all the time, if you take the party, whatever titles away and look at it from, is this right or wrong? It's a lot easier to see, instead of like, I'm blue, I'm red, I'm this, I'm that. It's like, oh my God. And
Because
so,
here's the reason why with this, Dr. Brook, is because right away, no matter what party you belong to, you come right away to defend the party, basically.
right,
You come right
right,
away the same way that you would come and
right.
be in your ego, you would defend your ego. And so, like right now, what is really, really helpful to do in order to see, because this is truth bombs and coffee.
Yes,
So we're talking about truth bombs. In order to get underneath to really find out who our people are, who our governors are, who the people, who the people are that are governing us, and are they coming from that truth that we really want, or are you so attached to the label of who the person is because you want to be right to stand in that? But that's why this video, I'm going to post it.
Yes.
First, I'm going to send it to you privately so you can have access to it, but I'm going to also post it underneath this video. And I invite the entire public, everyone, to look at the video and just watch how she broke it down from the beginning. It's a 45-minute video, so educational, so well done, because she was really breaking it down to how she was being attacked in Hollywood, and how she left that scene, and how she stood up to the controllers.
The darkness.
They're all connected, and how they're all connected to the government.
It's so, I probably shouldn't have watched it, but it was like really great because I mean, I've read the book, I've watched the movie multiple times, you know, in years past, but I felt called for some reason on the eve of the election to watch V for Vendetta. And if you have any idea, or if you've ever seen that movie, you know, I know there's a lot of people that, hey, if you're going to force me to wear a mask, they're wearing the V for Vendetta mask. And essentially, for those who may have not seen it, what that is about is, you know, was written, it was a comic book, a DC comic book that was written about London. And back in that time when it was written, it was like, you know, you could not be gay. If you were gay, you were completely ostracized, killed, imprisoned, like beaten down. And the government, the British government, was doing all sorts of crazy things to these people. And this guy, V, he had this, you know, pseudonym, called himself V. And he basically overthrew the parliament by doing all of these things. And, you know, they called him a terrorist, they called him this and that, and he was working for the people. He was helping the people that were being, you know, completely cut off from society and looked at as dirty, you know, people. Essentially, the big message from that, and a statement from the film and the comic book also is, you know, the government, or the people, should not fear its government. Its government should fear its people. And looking at it and just watching how, you know, in the film it's depicted the government is trying to make V out to look like a terrorist, and that he's hurting everybody and he's doing all these things, when behind the scenes they have all of this other ish going on. They have all of this other stuff that they're doing to their population. Now, if we pull the curtain back, not just in the state of California, but pull the global curtain back and see what is really happening, what you're hearing on CNN, NBC, Fox, I don't care what political party you identify with and what news station you're watching, you are not getting the story of what is really happening. Because if you just walk around and stop fearing another human being and talk to your neighbors, you will know that there are different things going on behind the scenes, in the shadows, mental illness, suicide, all of these things happening on the basis of what? You know, like, I know I like went on a big tangent there, but I just like it.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad you said everything you said. And I want to find out where's that video? Where's that movie or whatever?
It's called V for Vendetta. I have the DVD, which is funny because I have no way of playing a DVD, and nowadays it's like no computers come with CDs and that kind of stuff.
I know.
I actually was able to find it on YouTube. You can rent it on YouTube. I think it's like $4 to rent on YouTube. V for Vendetta. Such an amazing film.
Okay.
But yeah.
I want to watch it.
Yes.
I want to watch it. I think anytime that we can, you know, go deeper and look behind the scenes and look behind the curtain and learn more and be more empowered, not because we're egos fighting each other, but because we're coming from our higher self.
Absolutely.
We're coming from our higher self, and we are looking at, you know, things with an open heart and an open mind, not because we want to make people, judge people, but because we want to empower each other so that we can create a better future for our children and our children's children.
Yeah, and on that note, like when you say we want to empower each other, it's literally working to empower a person to pull themselves out of that fear state and to put themselves in a state of courage and confidence and knowingness that the body, we think we have all the answers in our finite mind. The body is far wiser than we will ever be able to comprehend. So when somebody outside of us is telling us that we need to do X in order to achieve certain levels of health, if you know any of my, philosophy or foundational truths about health, is health is very unique to each individual. I don't care if it is the best doctor on the planet telling, voicing on a microphone that you need to do X, Y, and Z. I don't care. That may not be right for you. And so when we're working with people and when we're talking about empowering you through this and pulling the curtain back, it's to take you out of a state of fear, a state of fight or flight, high stress hormone, and put you back into a point of where you can really truly make the best option for yourself, because you're making it out of a place of love and a place of peace and a place of knowingness. You're not making a decision because you are coerced or fearful or thinking that, if you're going to get X, you're going to die. It's really coming to a different understanding of what true alignment, what true health looks like.
Yeah, and empowerment. And it comes back down to your core values. It comes back down to your core values, coming down to know that you are the creator of your reality here, and that you're not going to give your power and authority away to an outside system, because you know that you sourced your power from one source within you, and source, you and God are in cahoots, and you are the one that's standing up and speaking out. That's why I appreciate your passion, Dr. Brook, and what you're talking about today. And then also, I'm going to put that video that I watched this morning. I was just drawn to it. All of a sudden came in, and while I was getting ready in the shower, I was listening to it. And
that's awesome. Yeah,
it's great. And I thought, wow, this is really good. This is really, and so I saved it because I want to be able to share that with people that want to look beyond the veil and really see how corrupt our government system has been, and what we have believed to be true really isn't true at all. And so,
absolutely.
Yeah, here we are. We've already been 27 minutes in. What do you want to say in closing before we close out?
Well, I think, to bookend it, because the way we started, I want to kind of maybe put something at the end in the same way, if you need someone to talk to, if they're, you're struggling, or you're feeling like you're being ostracized because you have a different viewpoint than maybe your family or your friends or whatever, I just want you to know that, Kornelia and I, we come on here every single week. We talk about these things. We share our truth. We share our light. We share all of this, and we're we can be available, and to help you, to guide you, to share resources, to help you stand in that truth. Just reach out, connect with us. And yeah, I mean, I really think that is what we need more than ever, is support from each other, and just listening ears, and, just being willing to ask for help, being willing to discover what your needs are. And, we're here for each other, and we have to be, because the world will try to make us
co-creating. That's how we're co-creating on earth. We're doing it from within our inner circles, and then we can stand stronger with what's happening in the world, because we've empowered the inner circle with love, with truth, with honor, with respect, with adoration, with peace, with honoring. It's with empowerment, with health, with the truth, with authentic truth. So, thank you, everybody, for listening and tuning in. I'm going to leave the links below so that you can check out Rose McGowan. She was amazing. Just, put your politics aside, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, just set that aside for a minute and just go in and listen to her. what she's talking about and how that all unfolded. It's very empowering. So we'll see you again next time. Thanks for tuning in. Take care, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.